Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Yeah, I don't always change the date right away, guys. I'm sorry. Let's go fix that first thing. First thing I got is Wynn's coming in here saying, no, the date is wrong. She's right. She's right. Okay. It's the 5th, not the 3rd. That means that I didn't change yesterday's date either. Oh, I haven't turned the robot on yet. So, let me go through all of this stuff first. All right. So, to the charts. Well, we had a little bit of a move up yesterday. I don't even remember. What was all going on yesterday? I don't think there was really any real serious reason, but it kind of felt like they tried to push us down at the beginning, and then just, they were planning on buying it all along. But now, overnight, we've moved much lower. Now, one of the things that's been happening is all this stuff with Brexit that could be possibly related. But the bigger thing is that they're saying that there is definitely a meeting in October for a trade deal. So, E-mini is up. 10 years up. Or sorry, down. 30-year is really down. 5-year is really down. And our spread is uninverting a little bit. I'd have to look at the actual yields to see where we're at on that. But anyways, so yeah, we're kind of there. And given everything else, I think you would have to think that maybe we're going to sell. Alligator is noticing that the Euro bonds are much weaker than the US bonds, which is kind of interesting. The canaries in the labor market are singing songs of warning. Well, there's been a lot of stuff about that we didn't make as many jobs as we thought. But there's still like a really big data point that we got coming out on Friday. So let's not make too many conclusions until we get that, right? Anyways, let's go turn on the robot. I need to just make a link, I think. But I'll open it up in GitMesh. Should make a shell script that runs it. Okay. Okay. That looks good. Do you have a prediction on Bitcoin short to midterm? Well, not particularly. Here's my view. I'm not really sure what it's going to do next, but what I saw was down in here. This was manipulated selling. Somebody trying to get a lower price, and then they
YouTube,
bought it up.
Winstanzamom, Drift Fog, J. Constant filmmaker Simon Chrisen, Adrift as a love letter to the fog of the San Francisco Bay Area.
Anyways, so they bought it up, but I'm just really surprised that they didn't even buy it up, past 11. So I suspect that the manipulators are in buy mode, and so I could totally see them moving up higher. But it is very discouraging that
YouTube,
with all that
Winstanzamom,
manipulation,
Fog
they only
Random
got up
Drift
to there.
Game.
They only got up to there. So yeah. So this is where I'm like, okay, I need to be able to mute it or whatever. Like I can mute it like that, but then I'll still hear it. Alligator says the news flow is positive and turning risk on. Yeah, very much so. Oh yeah, so when I have something for you. I found something on the internet for you about ferrets. Where is it? Here it is. Here, I'll give you the link right here, and I'll show you. Look at this ferret. Okay, he goes to jump on the window. Watch, he's gonna go and jump on the window. Oh, and he falls. Okay, so then they're gonna go and reset. He's already there. Can you believe that? Oh wait, you can't.
YouTube, Winstanza mom, really?
I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now you can see it. Look at this. Okay, so there he is. There you go. He's gonna try and jump on the window. Oh, he misses. Okay, we got to get back on the
YouTube,
thing to reset.
Winstanza mom,
He's
ferrets
already
begin
there.
talking about ferrets robot voice of the Dukes of Joy. Duke.
That's like teleport speed. How did he get up there so quickly? He's already up there. He's already up there. Can you believe that? It's good stuff right there. Well, look at that. 5K. 22 half. Possible continuation signal. Not too positive yet. Some big numbers below us, so kind of seems to
YouTube,
suggest that we
Winstanza
could
mom,
keep
Mika
going.
ferret does that. She thinks she is a flying squirrel. Ferrets understand quantum theory because ferrets teleport.
They do teleport, huh? I think it's just better for robot not reading
YouTube,
the
Winstanza
names.
mom, I love that and we'll share that with the Holistic Ferret Forum.
Wrong. That's an interesting thought. I'll think about that. I mean, we can change things. I still got to program a bunch of stuff, right? So that I have more control over it. I'm still kind of researching a little bit in JavaScript, making sure that I do it the right way. I think I might want to use promises in some sort of a way, like a serial promise queue, which is kind of weird. But you kind of get this weird thing going on where I have one process that can be asynchronous, which is going out and getting the audio, and then I have another thing, which is actually playing them out, which has to be done serially. So I want to make sure that I program it most optimally so that when I put it out for other people, it's all good. Okay, well, let's watch out where this goes. I think that they could move down quite a bit lower. I'm super sucks that I didn't get 22 half though. I was too busy screwing around. Although it didn't give me
YouTube,
a signal
Winstanza
there.
mom,
So
Speculator I have a friend who is an agave weatherman who sings songs of wisdom on his front porch and live streams. You would be interested in how he is beginning his new business model in chats.
oh, that's interesting. And he gets a lot of viewers doing that, huh?
YouTube, Winstanza mom, he is not conservative but he teaches debate. Talking with famous people. We have a blast at night in the chat rooms.
Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. I have to say though, I've it's been interesting to
YouTube,
me.
Winstanza mom, hysteric eat more cheese. Yes.
It seems to me that I mean, when you're looking on the political spectrum, that especially in live streaming, that there's just not very many conservative people
YouTube,
out there for some
Winstanza
reason.
mom, and he will type people for a fee.
Oh, there you go. Oh, look at that. They're putting 1200 at 21 half. Anyways, YouTube is very much dominated by right-wing people, but live streaming is not. In fact, I'm probably one of the only people that actually do this. There are a few conservative guys out there, but they're not. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Now, part of it is the people that are like very liberal and very open about their politics in their live streams. The ones that I looked at least were doing it 24/7. I was like, well, that's why they got. How can you stream all day though? Good grief. I don't like that 23 is pulling.
YouTube, Winstanza mom, there are some wild right-wing sites who sended coded messages to each other. You have to clear your search history to reset your feed and really dig deep. It's dangerous though because of the bots.
Oh, I don't know about that. There's certainly all of the deep web stuff out there though, isn't there? Maybe that's what you mean when you say send coded messages to each other. They're doing it through Tor. See, it could go lower, but it's just that whole thing made me a little the liquidity vacuum above this makes me a little nervous. That might be a lure. I mean, it probably is a lure, but it's enough to make me rethink that whole spot. And the thing is because I took it down at the bottom and everything, and my risk reward wasn't very good. I need to see it do exactly what I want, and it wasn't. So I need to maybe take a little step back here and watch it. I have some food. I'm gonna take a few bites here. All right. Didn't finish all of my breakfast.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, the true couch warriors go 4chan or 8chan. No, I mean regular people on YouTube who think POTUS sends information this way, and so they do. Also double vowels, music sheets, etc. YouTube, Winstanzamom, Seth, look into K2 and how it helps your health. YouTube, Winstanzamom, vitamin K2 natto.
Okay. So what I'm saying right now, I definitely did the right thing there.
YouTube,
So I back up 2
Winstanzamom,
points.
full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange.
Hmm. So anyways, your earlier comment.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, Speculatorseth needs his parrots and an eye patch as a hook for the channel.
No. So your earlier comment about the 4chan and 8chan, that whole thing is super interesting, and I've always kind of thought, because when that whole, what was it, QA and on thing started happening, there was tons of people coming in and trying to post and push it on Reddit, and everybody on the Donald subreddit was like, this is stupid. And it seems like the people that are really into it tend to be older. Like everybody on the Donald says that it's a boomer meme. Um, but it seems to persist somehow. I don't know why, and I kind of suspect that a lot of it is fake or manufactured, which is to say that a lot of the people on 4chan that are supporting it know that it is just a meme, and they're supporting it to try and trick other people into supporting it. And then older, less discerning voters are then taking it as the truth and going out to rallies with like QAnon apparel and things like that. Of course, I can't prove that, but I guess it's just kind of shows my own bias that it's like it's clearly a conspiracy theory and total bullcrap, right? Anyways, so let's focus on this right now. Now that I'm done eating and everything, we're getting a little bit of a pullback. I notice that when they hit into 22 half last time, well, now they've only done 242, but when
YouTube,
they did it last time, there
Winstanzamom.
was
My mother and
2,000
her
went
friends in
into it.
Florida may not go full fox and let the Q out, but they have certainly been parroting those inflammatory words and they will not allow one word of criticism.
Yeah, I have a little thought about that, but maybe a little bit later, maybe around the quiet period around the top of the hour. I can gonna go into that. Because this pullback might be a really good selling point. I'm just wondering. There was some pulling at 23. This is 4 ticks back. So it's kind of in line and in a place where you could potentially sell it. 22 half was where I wanted to go short and couldn't get filled, right? And they were pulling 23. But like I said, the thing that concerns me was the first time that we ticked up and they went into 22 half, there was like 2,000 absorbed. Now there's a lot absorbing on the offer side now too. I don't think that I can just take that short though. I really should be waiting for another
YouTube,
signal.
Winstanzamom. The better part of valor is discretion. Henry IV, Part 1, Act 5, Scene 4.
Okay. Let's just. Then we might just be sitting here for a little bit. Well, let's just be patient. So see that into 22, 2,000 absorbed. So a little. It's not quite right. Like the sort of thing that I like to see in this kind of an area is like they tick down to 21 half and 21 half starts stacking like crazy. And anytime that they buy into it, the offer just absorbs and people are like selling at the low, That's the sort of thing that I like to see. What I'm seeing right now seems to be absorption the other way. Now that could be good if they actually go for it, because that means there's plenty of people to stop out. But for the time being, until it ticks down, I'm a little skeptical about it.
YouTube, Winstanzamom. This is very Midsummer Madness. 12th Night, Act 3, Scene 4.
Is that a play, 12th night? Mm-mm-mm. ZF is saying 119 to 302. It might be where they staged. That's quite a ways down there.
YouTube, Winstanzamom. Yes.
Okay, focus. Right here. So you see that stack at 26? Oh, too slow. They took that one. Well, in the end, I didn't. I was right about the pullback, but then I wasn't quick enough to get it when it actually started falling. Kind of interesting. Okay, they're going to trade into this 20. Oh, wow. Okay. There's still more there, though. And I would like to see this longer end go down more, which is not necessarily what I'm seeing. The 5-year side of this is actually moving down quite a bit more. We should check the two. The 2-year is not, though. Really? Okay. So that's a lot at 21. They let it come back up, and there was tons sitting there waiting. That's interesting.
YouTube Winstanzamam publicly traded Chinese companies reported slowed earnings growth in the second quarter, as moderation in economic expansion and a flare-up in the US-China trade war bit into profits.
You know, I would.
YouTube Winstanzamam
Oh, hold on.
MTR Cathay Pacific retailers and property companies that posted big gains on Wednesday fell today.
I would be really suspicious about any of the data that you see coming out of China, though. So they totally manipulate the numbers, right? And they have every incentive to try and make things look better than they actually are. I suspect that the situation in China right now is a lot worse than we're being told. Hmm. Okay, so there's 4. It keeps pulling there at 21 as a lure. He wants those fills. Is he going to turn around and hit it at 20.5 though? Hmm. It doesn't look like it. I mean, they're hitting it, but that one's kind of slow. Okay. So somebody on the other side. And they're absorbing a lot in the 5-year as well.
YouTube
And they're
Winstanzamam
both
South China
pulling.
Morning Post judging from the official data, the central bank is not doing much pump priming at present. If need be, it can do more. Interest rates are still relatively high, room for cuts.
In China? What is their interest rate though? I don't. The thing is they were already pumping a lot of money out before this latest kerfuffle, and a lot of banks were actually going out of business too.
YouTube Winstanzamam unlike the ECB, the PBOC has not exhausted all the weapons in its economic arsenal, the view by Zhou Zhang.
Hmm. Well, they're making it very difficult for us today to find a spot with order flow at least. If I had just gone off of the 4-tick pullback, I would have been out, but see they're pulling there at 21 and not necessarily getting fills. It's not necessarily a good sign. I think it's time for a new keyboard because it keeps giving me uh, double letters. So now 20.5 is pulling, right? Now that I'm out, they're just going to careen down there, huh?
YouTube, Winstanzamom, order flow trading is anticipating the prices where other traders have pending orders set, particularly important market participants with very large orders.
Yes. Well, that's a very simple explanation of it. Yes. I would say a more pure explanation of it is that order flow trading is trading based on current volume in market orders.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, clean your keyboard carefully and run a wire around the keys or get some air duster, but keep it from the children.
Maybe. I don't know if it's just dirty or what. I mean, with those mechanical switches, they don't just. You're getting double key presses. I think there's something more wrong than that, right? Interesting. Now there's a 5K at 21. I think they're going to try and push through them first. Okay, so that was a significant downtick. They offered 500 on the downtick at 21. They're trying to make a sink break. Yeah, I think you're right. They want all of them to go at the same time. Now the 30-year is giving me something. The 10-year is giving me something. Let's see, where did I get that 3Gs from? That just must be me being a little nervous or something. Anxious. This could be a reversal. In fact, well, I'm so not sure, but I think I should be taking this as a reversal.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, buy limit orders at the level that was the previous best ask and is now available for the bids.
Buy limit orders at the best level. Wow. Okay. Okay. And that doesn't even really make any sense to me, to be honest. I mean, look, here's the game that they play when. See, right now there's only 500, but look, they actually traded 2,000. So you look on there and you say, oh, okay, here's a spot. And then, you know, it ends up there's being a lot more liquidity there than you'd think, and then they end up pushing up. Or vice versa. It could be that this guy, he really does want to sell super strong, and he's just willing. He's super happy about that. He's like, oh, you're going to give me 2,000 here? Okay, cool. And then I'll sell 1,000 here and 1,000 here. The thing is the thing that makes the order flow reading hard is that you don't know
YouTube,
what's
Winstanzamom,
not out there
just
yet.
reading and posting what I learn. This is not my advice, nor am I smart enough to try to offer advice.
No, well, I understand that, but I'm trying to. You're talking to people that probably tell you a lot more about it than anything that you're going to read online. This is kind of what I'm saying. because they don't really. John Grady's book is about the only thing that you're gonna find that really gets into it. But that's the main game that you want to pay attention to at first. Okay, which one of these is lower? Okay, so you notice now. Okay, it was low. We ticked through it. They ticked back up. Now we're ticking into 21 half. And how much is that 21? 32. Okay. So we just saw a change in the liquidity at that spot at 21. There is now a lot more market orders looking to buy at 21 than there was before. Make sense? This is the game, is that they can't, if they put an order out there, we can see it. But I can't see, the orders that they have yet to place, that they're going to place in the future. But there's patterns to it, and you can kind of tell, okay, it went through that price more easily than it should have. It was harder for it to move through that price than it should have. And that's kind of what we're looking at. That's why the thing that I would say
YouTube,
first is pay
Winstanza I
attention
will
to which
figure
one
out the
is
rhythm
smaller.
and sync my comments to your voice at some point soon, I hope. It's like a time delay in space. Warp speed ahead. There is trouble with tribbles, so beam us up. Scotty.
How many seconds of delay are you getting right now? Because it should only be like 2 seconds now. Because we're using the low latency mode still on YouTube, right? So I think it should only be like 2 seconds. Interesting, the 5-year went back and forth there a lot. Well, so far it's looking good, but we got to remember that sometimes it just goes 2.
YouTube, Winstanza 4 second.
Okay. That sounds about right. Because it takes it a few seconds to transcribe it too. And that's where I was getting at, that what I would like to be able to do is to control it, so that if I want to go in on a longer comment, I can turn it off for a second. Right now I have to come over here and control C it for a bit and then start it back up again. Okay. So they took 21. Remember, they had bid 3,000 at one point. That time they sold through it. They had to do 2,000. They're trying to buy it back, but there's a little bit of iceberging going on there. Okay. This time 900 bid. See, we know, because we got down here, we know that there was some more interest in that area for some reason. And we did get an uptick. So that's likely to be a
YouTube,
reversal.
Winstanza I am a blondish, so to keep me quiet I will just tape my mouth shut, then the sexy robot lady will not keep chattering on.
Well, it's okay. It's just that at this particular time, we want to keep the comments on to this, right? So if you have a
YouTube,
question
Ace
about
Trades
something
at
I'm saying, that's when
Winstanza
you go
morning.
in. Hey, there's Ace. How's it going? Okay, so that's still bid. We want to see if they go into 21 half and make 21 half go bid, how much stacks. Okay. So 2,000 stacks. And there's only about less than 500 at 21 half. So they're probably going to need, in order to get more liquidity to stack up there, they're probably going to need the 5-year to tick through.
YouTube, Winstanza good morning Ace Trades sexy robot lady voice say all hail, the king of ace dancing is in the hall. Kneel to our overlord of dancing.
Alligator says leaning
YouTube,
on
Ace
reversal.
Trades good. At Winstanza morning my love, how do you like the robot overlord?
It seems like she's sure having fun with it. I'm still thinking about Wrong's comment that it would maybe be better
Twitch,
to
null
have
monkey
it
zero,
not
bro,
read
the
the.
robot is no bueno.
You don't like the robot? No monkey doesn't like the robot. I think we've got to change some things about it for sure. I mean, the thing is I don't want to have to look away. That's the whole point. I want to still be able to talk to you guys without having to look away because I feel like I'm missing a little bit too much. And now that we're getting out of the summer, I need to be a little bit more focused. So I think that the robot voice works really well. I think that she's easy to understand. Um, she's not slow or weird or anything like that. It sounds very natural.
Twitch, null monkey zero, get it. Dollar 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 dollar
Yeah.
dollar.
Now you're right that you can kind of screw it up, but I can program some things into to fix those kinds of problems too. Um, I mean, the thing that's nice about it is that it was a custom solution that I wrote, so I have complete control over it. You know. Um,
Twitch, Shallian underscore, I sound so natural. www dollar 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 www just kidding.
the way that she speaks though sounds very natural. I think, like it's not. When I was doing the text to speech, the old style text to speech, I felt like it was jarring. You know what I mean? Okay, so there was a big amount of liquidity absorbed there at 22.5 C. So that is a one potential exit location that are probably going to go back and forth a little bit here. I see the 5-year though might have some more room to go. So let's kind of wait. Okay, so that time it took them, they had to coerce them a little bit to even get them to bid anything. And then as soon as they did, they immediately sold 800 into them. So it looks to me like the sellers are coming back in at this area, 22, 22 half. Kind of interesting because that's where it was before. So that's not a good sign for the sellers. See, only 50 bid. Okay, that time 400. So they seem to be waiting on the 5-year there. But yeah, could the robot voice be dismantled on our side of the keyboard? Well, I don't know about dismantled. I can we can add commands, so we could do things where like for instance, it'll only read it if you
Twitch, Shallian
put something at the
underscore, why
beginning
is
of
the
it.
Asia session so crazy right now? Much bigger moves compared to London or regular session.
That's a good question, Shalin.
YouTube, Ace Trades, at Winstanzamom, yes, the same button that fixes the birds will work on the robot murder girl, it's called the mute button.
Right. Well, and I can mute it. I could make if you guys think you can handle the responsibility, I could also add in some commands so that you guys could turn on and off the reading when you want. But you would have to fight over each other. Like one could turn it on and one can turn it off. I don't know if that makes sense, but I could make a command that would stop her from doing it for a while. Okay, that was interesting. So that's exactly the sort of thing where it's like I need to keep my eyes over here, or I would have missed that.
YouTube,
Okay, and now
Winstanzamom, the root button is located below the belly button and is a red button right below the orange button.
they're pulling the liquidity at 22. So that might be a lure. It's either a lure or this guy really went short and he really wants to push it down again.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, the root button makes a sound like VAMMMMMM.
Okay. So there was a lot sitting at 21.5 and they traded through that very quickly. But now they're going bid again, and now this 22 is pulling again. It seems like they're playing some games with us now. So is the E-mini doing some stuff? Well, the E-mini bought up a little bit. See, that is not... We're in a good position, but that's not exactly positive action. I don't mean positive, not positive action as in like it's not going to continue moving up or anything. It's just like, man, if you had tried
YouTube Ace
taking
trades
orders
Ace
anywhere
has
in
to go
there,
make breakfast. You weak humans need substance every 6 hours. The earth will soon be cleansed of its weak humans.
uh, anyways, if you'd taken an order anywhere within there, that way you would be pretty unhappy right now, right? Well, not like you would have taken a loss, but you would be like stressing out because it went against you and now it's favorable again or not. And what's it going to do?
YouTube, Winstanzamam, all that glisters is not gold. The Merchant of Venice Act 2, Scene 7, Ace trades enjoy your breakfast you glister of gold.
Okay, so now they've traded 1267 at 22. They seem to like that 22 half though. I want to put something there. Now 21 half is pulled completely.
Twitch, Null Monkey 0, is this Jigsaw?
Yes, I'm using Jigsaw as the DOM. I have NinjaTrader up for charts. I also have the Jigsaw charts behind there. There's that liquidity down below us that's been there for a while. They're kind of suggesting that whole thing was just, well, now they're doing this.
YouTube, Winstanzamam, yes, it is Shakespeare.
Okay. So now they've created a chop zone. Chop zone usually means reversal, but I don't know. I've never kept stats on that. It's a more recent thing that I've been noticing. The 5-year went lower there. What the heck?
YouTube, Winstanzamam, some Cupid kills with arrows, some with traps. Much Ado About Nothing Act 3, Scene 1.
Mm-hmm. It's going to really suck if I only ever got 3 out of that. Should have gotten out when I said that was a potential spot. Should have just immediately taken that. Oh, let me just make sure we got our tweet. The US-China meeting is a potential game changer and the technicals confirm it, says Forex Live. Okay.
YouTube, Winstanzamam, Mika Ferret usually turns on Elvis when she walks across my keyboards. I think this morning she turned on my Shakespeare Sonnets S1.
Well, snap. What's with all this volume here, though? That little flurry of volume there certainly seemed to have triggered them a little bit.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, maybe the situation in Hong Kong is churning the waters up.
I don't know. I kind of think that the Hong Kong thing is. I haven't heard any more news on that ever since they pulled the bill, right? Oh, snap. We've had this one before, huh? So why did it give me 19.5?
YouTube, Winstanzamom, dropped precipitously.
No. Okay. The way it's moving is a little frustrating. And then it did all of that, and now it's just sitting here.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing said in a statement that due to prolonged connectivity issues with its futures trading system, it had suspended.
I don't think that would be affecting us in this way. I think that it's just still kind of that. You're still before that ADP news, and they have reason for the markets to move, but it's a little difficult. Hmm. Okay. Okay, so they ticked up in 2000 bid at 20 half? I really want to know why that uh, got filled where it did.
Twitch, NullMonkey0, lol China pulled the plug on shorts.
Could be, I don't know. Something, they're definitely being fishy here. You can kind of see how anywhere in that area would have been bad. So I have to say too that particular thing was not my normal trade, was it? Interestingly enough, though, they're not giving me on where I would really like to be taking it, like selling it at 22 half. It's not giving it. It's not showing it. They are giving some clues. It's just different ones from what I'm used to. try it again. Stop limit. Huh. Okay. That was a little bit of an aggressive sell. Gold selling hardcore. Okay. There were sellers at S2 but surprised by the move. Blaine, central banks are no longer a solution. They have become the risk. Okay. Okay. That 5 year keeps showing like maybe it's going to do it, and then it doesn't. They're playing the game here. So this one will pull, and they'll see if
YouTube
people hit
algo
this.
lover, GM winking face.
Oh, good morning. You're a little late, buddy. Oh, there's an okay takedown. I don't know. They're going to trade into that 20. That's unfinished down now
YouTube
at 20.
algo lover, 8:51 a.m. algo lover, SLF buyers maintain their bid above 2,949.50, then 2,979 target. If 2,949.50 breaks before that target trades, then anticipate a deeper pullback nerd face.
Gotcha. I think, yeah. I mean, it is in line with what I say. I'm just wondering though if you were gonna buy the E-mini because
YouTube Winstanzamom, pair traders, what is this?
that might be a little bit. Would they really sell all the way down to 29.49.50? I'm not so sure.
YouTube Winstanzamom,
I think
geeks
you'd have
speak
to
to
pick a
some.
spot
But
to
to a
buy
pairs trader,
earlier than
correlation
that.
is, well, just about everything. Do you pair traders and do they object?
Uh, so when we're talking about correlations with treasuries, well, with futures, the thing that you got to keep in mind is that the edge that you can get out of correlations is almost always already taken out by the robots. And that correlation will flip on you very quickly. So you've got to be very careful about it. If that makes
YouTube
sense.
Algo Lover, been up a while, so we are already long thumbs up.
Gotcha. Well, I guess kind of the question would be, if you wanted to get long after the open, what's the best price that they're going to give us? I'm not so sure that I want to get involved today in ES, but I mean things are looking pretty positive. So we could think about taking a buy at
YouTube Winstanzamom,
7.25.
Coke and Pepsi, or Ford and GM.
Yeah. Well, like you can look at the 6J and the 10-year treasury and there's some correlation, right? But what you're going to find is, or with the E-mini, the inverse correlation, but you're going to find that like you're looking for that correlation and then you say, okay, the E-mini's going up. We should see this one go down and then the E-mini will go up and this won't move. And it'll be like, what the heck? Just it has the tendency to do that. And that's where correlation trades can really mess you up and be tricky.
YouTube Winstanzamom, you are 5 years, so the 5 and 10 year are a pair?
Well, sure. I mean, the all of the treasuries are extremely correlated. Okay, I think a period where I saw a swing up in the 10-year and a swing down in the 30-year, for instance, I've seen that happen once. So once in 3 years of trading, I've only one time have I seen them not go the same direction. But what you'll get in these is, one will go further. So you can see right now, the 5-year is selling a lot harder than the 10-year is. That's why I will
YouTube
reset them.
Winstanzamom, but apples to oranges?
Apples to oranges. This is like Macintosh apples to Fuji apples. You get what I mean? I guess I'm just trying to apply it. They're certainly talking about, you know, when you have two stocks that are really similar or something like
YouTube
that.
Winstanzamom, theoretically, you might buy one stock and pair it with a naked short call option on another stock in the same sector instead of shorting the stock.
Yes. So do you understand why they would do that, Win?
YouTube Winstanzamom, copied and pasted. Lol.
So let me try and explain. Um, say you're really negative on a company. So you want to short that company, but the economy is doing well. So what happens if you sell that company short? And yeah, it does do poorly, but because everything is going up, it still goes up. Then you lose money. So what we got to do is we got to hedge it
YouTube
out.
Algo Lover, we watch what we trade but don't care much about correlations as they come and go. Okay, hand.
Yep, exactly. So what we do is you hedge it. So what you can do, a more simple thing without options, is we could say we will sell
YouTube
one
Dojo,
stock.
greetings from Chongqing, China. Bandwidth is a little lacking here, but thought I'd say hey.
Thank you for saying hey, Dojo. So let's say that it's Ford and GM. Okay. So then what I could do is I could say I wanted to sell GM. I would sell GM and I would buy Ford. And that way, If the market moves up, I'll still make money from being long Ford. But then if GM goes down, I make money because I'm short, right? So it's hedged. And we do the same thing here in Treasuries. Because these are so correlated, I could say, well, I don't actually know if in the short term if we're going to move up or down. That's a lot of volatility that I'm not willing to risk. So instead what I could do is I could sell the 5 year and buy the 10 year. And there's a ratio that you do it in. But then if the spread continues to move in the direction that it has been, then I make money regardless of whether or not the treasuries move up or down from where I've taken
YouTube, Winstanzamam, Ni Hao. Dojo.
it. Now, where is Chongqing, China? What general area of the country is that?
YouTube, Dojo, Ni Hao.
They seem to be suggesting that they could go lower, but it might just be one of these they only win a tick and then, you know? Hmm. I think you would maybe need for this to go a little bit lower. I think you would maybe need another buy in the E-mini, although they might try and buy the E-mini on the open. That's kind of the thing I'm watching here is I think that there might be a
YouTube,
strong buy on the
Winstanzamam,
open.
Ni Hao Ma. And that is the extent of my non-menu ordering Chinese. I confess.
Yeah, there's some really good applications on the iPhone for learning Chinese, and it's really fun. You know, some of those Asian languages are
YouTube,
really complicated,
Winstanzamam, I speak food. Do
uh,
you?
but Mandarin has been they've really simplified Mandarin, and you can totally learn it. And it's not that bad, and it's a lot more fun than other languages because there's so many uh, there's so much interesting culture behind the words and the way that they say things. So it's really interesting to look at. Okay, so they took that one and they offered 1,500. They might try and set up a level break here, although the 30 year is not in line with them. So now he's stacking a little bit. They might just succumb to the pressure. Oh, I didn't see that Donald Trump had tweeted something. Bad actress Deborah the Mess Messing is in hot water. She wants to create a blacklist of Trump supporters and is being accused of McCarthyism, is also being accused of being a racist because of the terrible things she says about blacks and mental illness. If Roseanne Barr said what she did, even being on a much higher rated show, she would have been thrown off television. Will fake news NBC allow a McCarthy style racist to continue? ABC fired Roseanne. Watch the double standard. Interesting.
YouTube, Dojo, too much video buffering. Talk to you all when I'm back in the US.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for stopping in and saying hi while you're over there. We'll catch you later. At 5 year. Now look at that. They actually bought up at 30 and 3/4, and nobody was willing to offer. Well, they
YouTube,
bought through it,
Winstanzamam,
but
Safe Travels Dojo.
for a second there, nobody was willing to offer. We are getting a little bit of a signal here at 19.5, so I probably should try and take it off there.
YouTube, Winstanzamam, did you watch the debates? You can answer later.
Um, No, I mean I've heard a lot. You mean the town hall thing last night, the climate change town hall? My understanding was that that was 6 hours long.
YouTube, Dojo, thanks. Dojo out.
No way I'm gonna watch 6 hours of Democrats talking about climate change, man. But I have read a lot about it, and there were two news stories that I'm seeing
YouTube,
floating
Dojo,
around.
thanks. Dojo out.
Later. Well, that's no good. They're gonna play this game again, aren't they? So there's two news headlines that I've been seeing floating around about that this morning. One was that apparently Joe Biden like popped a blood
YouTube,
vessel.
Winstanzamom. It was 7 hours long and that is longer than Nicholas Nickleby on Broadway or off Broadway.
But he had a blood vessel in his eye pop or something, and his eye was filling with blood. Yeah, that's or at least that's what I was seeing. And I saw the picture. I don't know if they like exaggerated it or what, because I haven't seen anything else about it anywhere yet. But that's the end of your campaign, right then and there. I mean, that's like before it was like Joe Biden's probably not going to win anymore. But now it's like you for the good of the party, you probably should drop out at this point. Um, that's kind of what it
YouTube,
seems like for
Algo
him.
Lover, Seth, per zettabyte buyers will start a bounce. If it gets offered into below 164.28, then 164.04 target. If buyers bid back above 164.08, then anticipate squeeze higher thumbs up.
Mm, below 164.28. We're below 28, so that was from earlier then. 04 target though. So kind of, I guess what you're trying to say, huh? And the 5 year is at a critical point that somebody in a newer guy ZF in our interest rates channel has been watching. There sure is a lot of liquidity through there. I mean, there's not as much at 16 as there was at one point, but it does kind of look like that they might want to go for that liquidity there. What about in the 5 year? See, I don't see anything unusual in the 5 year, except for at 30.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, where did you see this report on a broken blood vessel? Keep in mind the strategy is to make him seem old, ill, and feeble.
Oh, I
They did the
was,
same thing in the last election. I do think he is a bit old, but.
yeah. That's why I wasn't confirming it because I only
YouTube,
saw it
Algo
on
Lover,
Reddit.
Seth, focus and read that again. Thumbs up.
Focus and read that again. ZB buyers will start a bounce. You think they're going to start one right here? If it gets offered into below 164.28, that's where I get confused because we're already below 164.28. Then 164.04 target. If buyers bid back above 164.08, then anticipate squeeze higher. So I think what you're saying is the target was 04. You think they're gonna dip down and then they're gonna try and bounce it there, and if it gets above that 08, then it's gonna go higher. Well, I'm still just looking at this liquidity right here around 18 to 16 and thinking, are they going to go through that? E-mini looks a little choppy before the open, doesn't it? But bullish. I think that they probably should go higher. Okay, so here's the open. So there was some selling on the open. Okay. Treasuries definitely
YouTube, Algo Lover.
are
Yes, I
reacting to
anticipate
you.
a bounce back into 164.08.
Okay. I guess it's just your word bounce, because to me, a bounce would be like, you know, they're going to bounce at 08. But I think what you're saying is there's going to be a little slip slash continuation a little bit lower. Okay, so that was kind of interesting because when the E-mini started buying there, they sold that 20, but then now that they're holding that, they don't seem to care. Okay. See, it seems to be affecting the robots, but they don't seem to be trading off of it. Okay, so why do you see it confirmed on the Washington Examiner that his eye did fill with blood? So yeah, that's the end of him. That's the end of him. Hmm. So this is what I'm talking about with correlation, right? The E-mini's going higher. 10 years should be selling, but they're not. They actually just went up 2 ticks there. Anyways, so the other thing that I saw was I saw a clip of Bernie, and somebody asked them about, like population control. And they're like, should we discuss this? And Bernie was like,
YouTube,
absolutely.
Winstanzamom, Gregor Horvat, Elliott Wave Service, Thursday, September 5th, 1:56 a.m. CDT USDMXN is dropping
Hmm.
into Wave E as part of a bigger, bearish impulse down from end of August.
What is CDT USD MXN? Is that the US Mexican peso pair? Forex pair? Hmm. No, we got that down there. Why did I not take it off at 19 and a half? I had a one in there at one point and I never got filled. Isn't that correct? That's what's going on. I've I've kind of forgot what I was doing, guys. I would have liked to have been out there at 19 and a half. But now if it goes down again, I probably should keep it. Okay. E-mini is looking bullish still. They haven't stopped out all of these guys. They went short on the open though. Or maybe they didn't go short. Maybe they're just selling on the open. I don't know.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, 1 United States dollar equals 19.66 Mexican peso Sept 5, 1:31 p.m. Coordinated Universal Time.
Okay. Man, Mexican peso though, not really one that we watch too much. Okay. If I had just kept my
YouTube,
original short,
Winstanzamom, Bernie.
Bernie, yeah. If I had kept my original short and, just taken the heat on it, then I would probably be, perfectly happy to sit here and see what it happens. But because I keep wrestling around with it, I feel like I'm still struggling to get in sync with the market. Hmm. Well, that was a little bit better of a down tick. Yeah, so on the Bernie comment, I feel like if the Republican Party doesn't have an ad cut out for that by the end of the day, then they're not doing their job, because that was pretty bad. Talking about population control, that is like, oh, that would be so toxic. And if I was a Democrat, Bernie's willingness to wade into issues like that would be really concerning to me. Strangely enough, Elizabeth Warren has never been goaded into answering a question like that. Isn't that interesting? Because I think that she would probably would be trying to say something even more progressive than Bernie, right? But she's never been. I can't think of a situation where she's been asked a question like that.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, Forex News. The USD, JPY is typically used as a vehicle to guide risk sentiment in the market.
Yep.
For these reasons, we can expect the JPY to grow stronger.
If macro risks continue to develop in cases where volatility strengthens, it's also likely that JPY will manage to find more buyers. Yeah. The JPY and the 10-year tend to have a lot of correlation. And gold.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, Bernie is all about the workers' rule, production and manufacturing. Elizabeth is more moderate.
You know, that's true. But it's not the strategies that they've been using. You know what I mean? Like Elizabeth Warren is trying to hide the fact that she's the more moderate one. She's trying to show herself as the true, as just as progressive, if not more progressive than Bernie. It's only the smart people like you that are actually paying attention and have known her for a long time that know the truth, right? What Elizabeth Warren, the main things that she wants to do was mostly kind of tinkering around the edges with corporate laws and stuff, because that's what she dealt with when she worked, was corporate law. Unfortunately, the changes that she would want to make would be considered extremely negative by the markets, at least. Okay. So I find it interesting that they're not willing to offer a whole lot out at 19. But it's telling me that they're okay in terms of like how far they've gone. I suppose it would be appropriate to take it off there, but I'm not getting any kind of a signal. Well,
YouTube,
that 14 is a
Winstanzamom, what I
little...
see on the left side is that people are open to new ideas without throwing away the baby with the bathwater. The right side of the aisle appears to want to keep our current system in place.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much the definition of right versus left, right? The problem that you get with the left right now, because I wouldn't say that the right wants to get rid of or doesn't want to change anything. Oh, that's my exit. Thank you. Wow, 5K. So that might go through, but when I see a big iceberg like that in this kind of action, I usually want to take it off. So that's a good spot. They very often, though, will go through that for 2. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, people on the right generally they want things to improve and get better, but they think that an idea has to be tried and proven first. Is kind of more their take on it. And then since they oppose everything in law
YouTube,
anyways, it never
Winstanzamom,
gets
without
that far.
moving forward. They appear frightened of new ideas and are not open but seek an appeal to authority. Thank you for the compliment of being considered smart. The big 5 personality traits.
Yeah. So the problem on the left right
YouTube,
now,
Winstanzamom, measure openness.
measure of openness. Yeah, so the problem that I see on the left right now is that the left, in terms of personality, seems to be extremely open, and almost none of the non-open people are over there on the left, and almost none of the disagreeable people are over there on the left. And so what's happening is you're getting a lot of ideas being presented around, and there's nobody there to say, maybe we shouldn't be saying things like that. Maybe this is not really such a good idea. Or at the very least, like, hey, like the the general public is not going to like this, and that's not going to be good for our election prospects. That sort of a thing, right? That's what I'm seeing on the left. So you get things like Bernie, like, oh, we should do population control. Well, see, if you had somebody over there that was kind of more like me, that is highly disagreeable, then they would be told, hey, you know what? Actually, if you talk to population scientists, um, the population growth has already disappeared in Western
YouTube,
countries.
Winstanza Mom, I agree. Keep the message simple, speak in threes and assure everyone they will feel safe.
Yeah. Um, in Western countries, population growth has stopped. And what we're finding is that in developing countries, as they become developed, their population growth also stops. And so we're probably, once Africa becomes developed in the next 100 years, the population is likely to stop somewhere around 10 billion, I think it is. We're like at 6 or 7 billion right now, right? We're likely to get up to about 10 billion and stop there. And saying in a Western country that we should be trying to have less babies is not going to change anything, right? And, oh, yeah, by the way, people generally don't like the idea of, we should curb the population. The government should do things to encourage people to not reproduce. Like that's the sort of thing that happened in China. Oh, you can only have one child, right? It's a it's a dumb thing to say, right? And if you had a disagreeable person, that they would come in and step in there and say that,
YouTube,
but they
Algo
don't have
Lover,
that
per
right now.
zettabyte, wait to see if they trade 164.08 before allowing a bounce. For what it's worth, okay hand.
Yeah, I got you. I think you're gonna be right, Algolover, because just because of what I saw there at 18, a 6K iceberg, it's very rare that you see an iceberg at a particular an iceberg that big at a particular location, and like that's the low. You know what I mean? Like with an iceberg that big, they need to extend it at least another tick, probably. But I know based off of everything else that at least for the short term that I should probably get out and that I can maybe try and get short again. But you're right. It's like the ZB is looking reluctant to sell because of the spreads. They're still buying it. And yeah. hmm. Donald J. Trump 3 minutes ago, really good jobs numbers. That's odd. Oh, we do have some numbers here at the top of the hour, don't we? Okay. Non-farm
YouTube,
productivity.
Winstanza Mom, cause and effect. Introduce a new animal into a new population and the effect is unknown. Kudzu in Florida. Snakes in Florida. Gators in the toilet in NY. Lol.
Yeah. What am I seeing? The ADP number was good. I think you might be surprised to find tomorrow's non-farm employment change to be better than expected, but I don't think that's what Donald Trump is talking about. So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so now it is definitely giving us an out signal. Let's see if it ends up being a reversal or a continuation. What were we saying? Keep the message simple, speak in threes, assure everyone they will feel safe. Well, whoa. Okay, so there it is. I'm not. So I did say, hey, maybe we could go a little bit lower, right? But that was something else. That had to have been something else. Oh, that was the market services PMI. The 745 news. Oh, I don't have it on here. I don't have it on my calendar. That's weird. Oh no, final services PMI. There it is. Darn. 50 versus 51. Why are they going down like that?
YouTube,
That
Winstanzamom,
was a
what
little
worries
weird.
me is that DJ TJ is a television person. If my mother will say I am too smart and I am a screaming liberal, then what happens when he watches the same shows and reads the same tweets?
Well, one of the things that I think is that people on the left seem to have a misconception about is they seem to think that if you put a smart person in office, that's going to make
YouTube,
everything better.
Winstanzamom, that truly worries me because I have watched a serious change come over people in the last 2 years.
You got to understand that president is pretty limited in what he can do, and I don't necessarily believe that you want somebody super smart in the office. Honestly, you get somebody that's really really smart and effective in office. Um, well, I didn't take anything through that period because I wasn't quite sure what was happening. I'm still not quite sure what's happening, but I'm seeing a potential level break, so I'm going to take it if I can. I'm just saying, can you imagine if Donald Trump had a supermajority in the Senate right now and could pass any kind of law that he wanted? And I'm sure that they would do a lot of things that I would like, but I'm sure that they would probably also do a lot of things that would be negative. They always do whenever they get overtaken, right? And the thing that I always see on the left is this
YouTube, Winstanzamom, intuition, do pattern recognition.
is like this idea that like we need smart people in government, and if we can just change the way that we vote so that we start electing smart people instead of reality TV stars, then government will start functioning better, and everything will be better for the rest of us. And I say no. You don't want a smart person in office because they will actually be effective. And once government starts being effective, you think that's going to mean that, oh, they're going to, it's going to be more efficient and better for all of us. But what it really means is that they're just going to be that much more effective at taking away your rights and these sorts of things. That's always what happens. Uh, uh, well, that's interesting. So I thought there would maybe be a level break there, but it's not. It's just they're just breaking and breaking, and this guy is just
YouTube,
cracking it.
Winstanzamom, I think you should read the new report on the migrant children in detention. Sept history will not be kind and these children will grow up to meet your children. This is serious. Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller. Well, I think that the administration made a mistake, right? They kind of got put in a tough situation. The attorney general made a change in the law that they didn't necessarily expect or were prepared for. And then when it happened, I don't think that they understood the gravity of the situation. Okay, this whole idea. Hold on, seeing too much down here, and I'm nervous.
YouTube,
And I'm not.
Winstanzamom, is a very bad man. I rarely see evil, but he is evil, and I use that word in the literal sense of the word.
Wasn't
Every person
Stephen?
should know his name before they vote again for this
No,
administration and its policy.
no. Listen, uh, Stephen Miller is very much an ideological guy for sure. But that whole thing was not his fault. Okay, look back at what happened. It was the attorney general. It was who was it at the time? I can't even remember
YouTube,
his
Winstan's
name.
mom. They did not keep track and had no plans to track those children.
Yeah, no, but here, let me turn it off for a second so I can yap here and think for a second. Um, the attorney general made it, Jeff Sessions, that's right. The attorney general made a change so that they were prosecuting all of them, and they weren't expecting it, but they said, okay, like, that's cool, that's great. And then but they didn't really understand the detention center situation at all. And when it first happened, their first reaction was, well, this is fake news. And then as time went on, I think that they actually realized, okay, actually there is a real problem here because the system is not at all able to handle this sort of a thing. And so what did they do? They made a law that said that you can't separate them. Well, not a law. He made an executive order that said that you can't separate them. Now, my understanding is that after this most recent incident where I can't even recall. There was like a migrant caravan and all of this sort of a stuff. But last time that people were really talking about immigration, right? My understanding is that more families were separated, and there was a lot of stuff in the news about it again, right? And those separations were against the administration's policy. So I think this whole idea, yeah, history will not be kind to it. I mean, it seems like that the narrative is already set, but this idea that the administration maliciously is separating children intentionally because they hate Mexicans or because they think that that's going to deter people is just absolutely false. They screwed up. They screwed up and they tried to fix their error, but you know what? There's only so much you can do at that point. And the thing is that they did fix it in the end, right? Because they got Mexico is changing things, and they're actually defending their border. They tried to get the third country agreement, which would have been a really great idea, but it doesn't look like that's actually going to happen. But the number of people coming through has decreased. I mean, in effect, he did fix the problem. So yeah. So I just don't buy this thing that it was like some evil Nazi thing. I gotta tell you, when you're talking about how politicians manipulate you, okay, Republicans are always trying to make you afraid about something. Okay, if Republicans are trying to make you afraid about something, like that, our country is going to have so many immigrants come in, and that's going to change the way that the country votes, and then all of your rights will be taken away because they can outvote you, for instance. Probably manipulation. Probably manipulation. I mean, it could happen, but chances are that they're saying that to get your vote. Okay? That's the way that Republicans manipulate the people, is by scaring them. Okay? Now, liberals, they will try and scare people too. But the way that they do it is they're always tug at your heartstrings. So every time that you see liberals out there talking about some sob story about some awful thing that happened to somebody somewhere, they're probably manipulating you. Your first thought should be, okay, let's dive down deeper into the particular issue though, and let's see if maybe there are some things about this that indicate that it, maybe there's just some systemic, it's not like people are evil necessarily. It's just that systems fail. Generally, is speaking, is what happens. Or maybe their sob story isn't nearly as sad. Or maybe they're just trying to avoid personal responsibility. There are more children lost than who died in 9/11. Stephen Miller is not a white nationalist. Can you find one? Can you find one comment from Stephen Miller that would show that he supports white nationalism. There's another 5K at 15.5. I don't think I want to touch it right now. Find me one comment from him that's in support of creating a white ethno-state in the United States. You've done your research. I don't. I think there's a lot of information out there about who is a white nationalist and who isn't that is complete bullcrap. Let me tell you who's a white nationalist, okay? Richard Spencer, David Duke, the people that follow them and go to all of their rallies, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. The nationalists, David Duke, have said that this president is on their side. How do they know? How do they know that? Can they read the president's mind? I've looked through his heart, and I can tell because David Duke can tell because he's a white nationalist. He has a white nationalist radar or something. He doesn't do that. Donald Trump doesn't want to create a white ethno-state. That's ridiculous. Stephen Miller doesn't want to create a white ethno-state. That's ridiculous. The only person out there that's really pushing that, frankly, is Richard Spencer, who is just, frankly, stupid, right? All of these other people, what they're doing is they're playing you with guilt by association. So they're saying, well, Stephen Miller, he talked to this one guy, and this one guy was involved in Identity Europa, and Identity Europa had this other guy in it, and this other guy happened to be associated with Richard Spencer. And so then they use that to say, oh, Stephen Miller is a white nationalist. But he's not. Where did he ever say? In order to say somebody is a white nationalist, here's the test, okay? In order to say that somebody is a white nationalist, you need to find a verified statement from them saying that they believe that the United States should be a white ethno-state. That's the level of evidence that you need to have to do that. Stephen Miller does want to create, prove it. Prove that. He's never said that. Stephen Miller is nothing more than a far-right immigration hardliner and nothing more. And he's also very much on the side of, do the stubborn thing. Like if anybody is saying, oh, this would be so bad and we shouldn't do that, then you probably should do it. I can turn this back on now since that didn't happen. I don't know if I think that they might be able to go lower, but I don't know if I can take it anywhere in here. So we broke 04, right?
YouTube, Winstanzamom, Googling but no official definition of white nationalist exists. It's tough to say, but what we do know is that Stephen Miller has long-standing ties to leaders who have expressly advocated.
He hasn't advocated for that. And the ties that you're talking about are pretty tenuous. Okay, so they're pulling the liquidity here. Like, the thing that's so funny about it is that it was like, okay, if Stephen Miller had direct ties to Richard Spencer, then I would be like, okay, yeah, maybe that's really questionable, right? But there's always like 3 or 4 degrees of separation. It actually gets quite ridiculous when you look at it.
YouTube, Winstanzamom, David Horowitz Freedom Center, DHFC, which is designated as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, for its record of demonizing Muslims. So in 2006.
Okay, so that doesn't mean a thing. The SPLC, whoa. Holy shnikes. So the news came out. And then they pushed much harder. Oh, this market is going to whip back so hard. I mean, I took it off. I could probably hold, but let's see if it gives me another spot. Okay. You could maybe take it there. So it's going a little bit too fast for me to do anything. Yeah, Miller has aggressively disputed Spencer's account of their relationship and has claimed, I have absolutely no relationship with Mr. Spencer. No, so here's the thing. The Southern Poverty Law Center, I hate to say, is absolute bullcrap. Nothing that they say about whether somebody is associated with a hate group or not is reputable. There's there was an article the other day, well, not the other day, a couple of months ago, I guess, where they basically showed that the Southern Poverty Law Center was basically just a money funneling scheme, and that it was basically like, you know, pay us money or we'll designate you as a hate group, sort of a thing. So they're saying, okay, the Freedom Center is a hate group because they demonize Muslims. So what does that actually mean? So if somebody points out that Islam is a oppressive religion and that we really don't want to grow in the West, then you're a part of a hate group, and that's how they work. Okay, so that big order there at 08 is super suspicious. Why would you be buying that much there? Okay. So doing it there. I think I'm in the right spot. William Johnson. All right. So again, here's the thing. You can post like, oh, they knew this person or he had this policy. No, you have to say you need to find a comment by him saying that he believes that the U.S. should be a white ethno state. Just because he's an immigration hardliner and white nationalists are immigration hardliners doesn't mean that he's a white nationalist. Okay, so they decided to go further on that one. Okay. This might still work out for me. It does look like it was an overextension. It's just the buyers came through and went for a lot longer than I expected. So that ISM number was really that good? I'm a little. Oh, there was the ones at the top of the hour, so I didn't even actually read those ones out to you. 56.4 versus 54. Factory orders was 1.4 versus 1. Yeah, I don't know. How is man, they really came down there too, didn't they? They seem to be overextending both directions though. So I might need to think about doing something here. Yeah. Come on. Set it. He was calming down. I would be happy if not a single refugee foot ever touched again in American soil. Okay, yeah, I think he did. I think I could believe that he might have said that, but that doesn't prove that he's a white nationalist. Ah, there we go. Mm, mm. Are they going to push another new low? I might need to move this. Well, with this move, that ADP number tomorrow is going to be probably going to end up being awfully crazy, huh? Hmm. Six not really pulling though. 5 years kind of starting to encounter some resistance. Okay. How I guess I got out too early. Where did I get in at? Oh wait, half? One, two, three, four. If I could get uh, three more ticks, I would be incredibly happy. Nope. Nope. Dang. That one is normally worth a try, but it usually doesn't come back up so quick, you know? So that sucks. Let's let it go back up and see if it gives us a signal. Richard Spencer and Miller were tight at Duke University. That doesn't mean anything. Look, there's that suspicious order again. What were you talking about? So see, all I see in that stuff that you posted is tenuous associations. They knew each other in school, so doesn't mean that they believe the same thing. Okay, so now it's doing it at 06. They should probably continue up again. Let's see if they do it again or not. I mean, the E-mini is looking really bullish again, so maybe they're not going to give us more than 06, but okay. Birds of a feather. Doesn't work that way. Look, there's if you're going to try and prosecute thought crime, which is really what we're talking about, right? Because we're saying he has a belief that, of course, we don't have thought crime legislation in the United States, but we're saying that he has some belief that is offensive, okay? So if we were going to prosecute thought crime in the United States and we were to take this to court, and you went in and you said, well, they knew each other in college, guess what? You wouldn't be able to get a conviction off of that. You wouldn't. You know what you could get a conviction off of? If you had a recording of him saying, I think that the United States should be a white ethno state. If he said that, and I'm saying if he said that, I don't believe that, of course. Gotta be clear. I'm always trying to be careful about how I say that sort of a thing, because I don't want it to seem like because I certainly don't, okay? I'm very concerned about those people and their ability to kind of hijack people on the right, the conversation on the right. But you would need a recording of him saying that. That would get a prosecution, right? Actions speak louder than words. No, because you can have somebody can believe in a strong immigration policy and not be a white nationalist. That's silly. What happens when all the brown people in the US disappear? That's ridiculous. What you're saying, honestly, hon, that's ridiculous. That's not happening. That's not going to happen. All that they're saying is that if you want to come into the United States, you should do so legally, and that there's only a certain number of people that we can have come in through the United States for economic numbers. Rich says news. Yeah, there was an ISM number that, I mean, it wasn't that great, but the market seemed to really react to it. I feel like maybe they're overreacting a little bit, but I don't know. They sure are selling it, aren't they? He is the immigration policy, and as the captain of that ship, he does not believe that what he's implementing, then he is a lousy manager or policymaker. But he is not implementing a white nationalist policy. He's just implementing a strong immigration policy. Legally bullshit word overused lexicon. Well, I'm just saying, like my standard of proving something is like, if you could prove it in court, okay? You could prove it in court. Could you prove in court that Stephen Miller is a white nationalist? No, you could not. Why? Because you do not have a statement of him supporting white nationalism. You sure he has a lot of hardline immigration policies, and yes, white nationalists do tend to support hardline immigration policies, but that doesn't mean that he's a white nationalist. You have to have a statement of him saying he's a white nationalist, and you can't just sit down and say, well, he has this connection and he knew this guy in school. So what? It's still not proof of anything. You can know somebody and not believe the thing that they did. You could even have like a close association with him after he was, and of course, I would question your judgment at that point, but you might just be stupid and not have known what that guy was supporting for all we know, right? It's not proof. It's not proof of anything. Do you think that this country should lend a helping hand, speak our better angels, and provide help for a better life, not punch down? I think that. So you're kind of asking a manipulative question there, Win. Okay. I think that we have laws in this country, and that if people follow the laws, then we can help people. And, we can be, what is the word that we're looking for? Altruistic. Okay. But we have to follow through within the confines of the laws. Okay. We can't just say, oh, well, every time that somebody breaks the law, it's because they need help and we need to help them. Then we would have to help the whole world. That's not, that's not a possible thing. Like I could sit down and I could show you all day bad things happening in the world. Okay. The bad stuff happening in China. There's a million people in internment camps. Okay. You want to talk about people, governments doing something bad, evil? Go look at China. Why isn't there more people talking about how there's literally a million people in China in concentration camps? They didn't break any law. They totally belonged there. They're citizens and everything. They didn't do anything wrong. And they're in internment camps. It's literally a genocide. Do you ever hear anybody talk about that? No. And I tell you why. So here's the thing. You can't sit and worry about every teeny tiny little thing that happens. I'm concerned about that particular thing because my father, he has been in Hong Kong and stuff that's going on in China. I'm interested in. Okay. Like that's my thing. But we can't be concerned about every little person. And if we come in and we say, oh, well, every time that somebody tries to come into the country illegally, we need to be compassionate. Are you okay with 6 billion people coming into the United States? Because honestly, we're the greatest country in the world. And if we said any way they can come, and we're going to give them money, then everybody would come. It's not realistic. It's just not realistic. So it's kind of a manipulative thing, I think, to say, well, if you don't think that we should be, kind on immigration, then you don't have a heart. No, I'm just realistic. Okay. Mm-mm. But that's kind of a change in the subject. The question was Stephen Miller a white nationalist? He is not. There is no proof. There is no conclusive proof that he is a white nationalist. He says he is not a white nationalist. That's the thing that I think is so funny. Is it's like, okay, they say, oh, this person so and so is a white nationalist, and then the guy will come out and he'll be like, no, I'm not. That's ridiculous. And then they'll say, well, yes, he is, because he has this connection and he's just lying to us about that he is. So it's like you're trying to prosecute thought crime, and you're trying to prosecute, and he says that he doesn't believe that. At what point do you say, hey, this is kind of ridiculous? Maybe before we start trying to ruin people's lives and calling them white nationalists or whatever, racist or whatever the thing is, we should actually have verifiable proof that they actually believe the thing that we're claiming that they say. Because otherwise, it's just slander. It's just slander at that point. There's a little bit of a liquidity vacuum through here, but they still kind of look like they want to push further. And are they unfinished at 04? I don't think that they ever actually went offer there at 04. Cause and effect. Well, listen, the administration screwed up on the immigration policy, but I think they've, for the most part, fixed it. I wouldn't be surprised if next summer there's another kerfuffle or something, but they weren't certainly not prepared for what was about to happen. They should have been. They should have known better. But I think that they were just kind of sitting there with their head in the sand, unfortunately. I'm thinking I could maybe try getting it again, but the world will always have bad people. The poor and the hungry will always be exploited. I look for cause and effect to avoid being tossed about like a pebble thrown by Einstein. Well, but people can lie to you about what is cause and effect. Let's talk about cause and effect, okay? For 30 years, politicians have intentionally undermined our immigration laws. And they have actively encouraged people to disregard the law. So, of course, more people are trying to come over. Surprise, surprise. How about we do this? How about we have an immigration law? We follow that immigration law. and we protect our border. Then we go in and we set things up so that more people can come into the United States legally, which is to mean like that it's not this huge expensive process that costs tens of thousands of dollars and all of this sort of stuff. Something that anybody can come over if they meet the qualifications and I think it should be a merit-based system, but I don't think that it necessarily means that you have to be rich, or at least I would hope that it's not that you have to be rich. But you can pick those qualifications and so forth. Okay, and then we also go out and we go into countries in South America where they're having problems, and we help them fix their problems in their country. Instead of saying, okay, well, because your country sucks, let's just let everybody come over here. That's dumb. I'm just telling you. Where's Uzi? He's missing out. I know, right? Well, he came in on Friday, right? Or maybe that was just a dream. Now I'm weirding myself out. He came out last Friday, but I don't think he's going to be back until next week. They were kind of looking like they really wanted to go, but now, I was a little unsure at 4.5. Okay. There's the signal. There's the thing that I've been trying to catch all day. Let's see if they finally give it to me or not. Nope, they're just going to go. Darn. Under this administration, the cost of detaining a migrant has gone from over 300 to over 700. I'm sure. But, temporary problem, right? If we fix our immigration system. Oh, look at that. I don't know if that was good or not. Yeah, they really came back there, didn't they? Mm-mm-mm. And I'm just saying, if we really want to be kind and help people, the answer is not disregard all laws, right? Because honestly, we've created this problem very much so by telling everybody that they should just ignore the law and just come anyways, right? And honestly, when we do that, we're like undermining their country. Like think about Honduras. Like really, are we really doing the people in Honduras a favor by taking all of the best people and saying, "Oh, okay, well you can come here because Honduras sucks"? No, I shouldn't the kind thing be to go and fix the problems in Honduras? And if you're going to fix the problems in Honduras, doesn't that mean that you're going to need good people there? Ugh. Every time that this big bid has shown up, they've it was like a short term little move up, and then they failed. Look at that. Nope. Should probably just click out here, but okay. Nah, I think that they're almost. Is it going to give us another one? Well, that was a weird spot there in the 5 year. We should be investing in helping our neighbors, but people live day to day and are lazy about long term thinking, and infrastructure cause and effect is not as. Well, yeah, we can totally go and help them. But listen, saying, oh, just come to the United States is not helping them. It's making the problem worse, frankly. All of these people that came in these caravans to try and come to the United States, it was not a good thing for them. There was a lot of them, people got sick and then they didn't get admitted because they're not the law, they weren't qualified to claim asylum. They went through the court system and they got rejected. And there was people out there encouraging them to come. And now those people, were they really helping them? They weren't. Well, this is a little odd. But I mean, in summary, we should totally help people, but we should help people. The best way to help people is within the confines of law and well thought out policy. And instead, creating a constant crisis, undermining the law, and then, whining when somebody inevitably makes a mistake because of the situation that we've created, that ain't helping anybody. And calling people white nationalists when they're not white nationalists, and that doesn't help either. You know what that does? That just makes it easier for the white nationalists to hide. Because you're constantly running around crying wolf. Then when a white nationalist actually shows up and you say, hey, there actually are a white nationalists I know because they said this thing, and then all of the people on the right are going to be like, well, you said everybody was a white nationalist, so why should we believe you about this person? Don't cry wolf. If somebody has an abhorrent belief, we should be specific about what it is that they believe, and we should prove it by saying, hey, so for instance, Bernie Sanders believes that the government should have policies that discourage people from having children because the population in the United States is too high, or in the world is too high. He literally said that last night. He said that's something we should talk about, and that making it easier to have abortions is a great way to do it. You say that O2 is the target, but well, they went way past that, right? I also here's the thing, Algo Lover. I don't. Although you did have some good numbers, I can't say that was necessarily. I mean, the thing is as soon as that news came out, everything goes out the window, right? At least that's the way that I look at it. Bernie Sanders does not represent the moderates who make up the majority of the Democrats. That's why he is not president. Well, the question is, how many people in the Democrat Party actually do believe that? I think it would be surprising to most Americans how many do. Maybe we'll get some polling about that this week. I'll keep an eye out for that. I don't think that what Bernie Sanders said was really far outside of the mainstream of Democrat thought. Algo says I'm too distracted to read. I don't. I mean, I think I understood. I understand what you were saying when you were like, it could go a little bit lower. I still took my signals, of course, but um, I just think that when you get a news like that, any kind of level that you put out is meaningless. You know, like like at that point, okay, they're selling and they're selling it strong. Yeah, they're gonna go through that O2. Of course they are, and if, yeah, they did. They definitely did. Can you believe that at one point we were going short at like 23 and we had trouble keeping it? That is freaking ridiculous. That is freaking ridiculous. Now the thing that I don't understand is that the number was not the 8 o'clock number that came out. It was the final services number. Oops, did I scroll up? The 5 year actually gave a pretty good bounce there, signal. So we might move up quite a bit. Like maybe we could see 10.5 again. Certainly could see that 09. I tried really hard there to get that last 3 ticks, but I'm just keep screwing it up. Work the bid side, I'm not looking at the market, but I'm psychic. Yeah. I mean, I would probably rather still sell it, but they probably are going to pull back now, right? It's 8:30, so I'm done for the day, I'd say. I'm just disappointed that I couldn't get a 250 day. 171 is good, but I really wanted a 250 day. Hmm. Do you have the line of intuition on your palm, or are you in need, Dom? Well, I tell you what, it's kind of funny. I think I could have done better there if I wasn't ranting, you know? So we're going to have to focus more in the future. It's okay this week, but going into the next couple of months, there's going to be a point at which we're going to have to focus a lot more. Because honestly, the politics is fun to talk about, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Not to the trading, at least. Maybe I need a signal. Well, it's not your fault, Win. It's because you were talking about something that interested me, right? And I just can't help myself but want to talk about it. But I need to just be in like, if I say like, okay, need to focus here, that probably means that for the next 30 minutes, I probably should be more focused. How long have you been doing this? About 3 years now. In fact, here in October, I think that will be 3 years. Well, I did make money today. I'm just a little disappointed at these. So this one was one where I tried to fix a mistake and I screwed up. Could have been worse though. And then here I made it and I was like, okay, we're fine. Then I caught these two. And here at '05, I was just kind of trying to force it, honestly. Probably I could have gotten a little bit out of maybe one of them, but oh well. Should be just be grateful that I got anything, I guess. But for me, that true break was a 20 break. Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. Because I was short at 21. Cheese GX, I just followed. Hey, thank you very much. Um, so I think I have some links down below. I have like a Patreon and I have a YouTube channel. So I would definitely go and check out the YouTube channel. Most of my followers watch on YouTube. But yeah, and that, if you watch enough stuff, you get a pretty good idea of how I do things. I don't try and hold myself up as a guru. Did okay today. Well, really, I did pretty good today. I think I took way more trades than I would like. No, you know what? I was profitable today, and the amount of money that I made was pretty good. But I really don't feel like I traded super great. I think I could have done a lot better. What's the YouTube name? Just it's the same. It's Speculator Seth. Speculator Seth everywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, even Facebook. Although we don't use the Facebook very often. But I have a couple of kind of more educational kind of videos. So like if you want to get into trading, I have a video that's like getting started that has all of the resources that I looked at. I kind of go into why you shouldn't really pay for education, or at least not very much. Couple of, just analytical things that kind of give you an idea of how I look at things. But thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm wondering here. I feel like I'm missing something. Well, I need to do this. Probably shouldn't take any more trades from here. I suspect that you might be able to buy it at 06 though. Oh, there we go. It's him on YouTube. Cool. Yeah. And subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe and you hit the bell icon on YouTube, then you'll get the notification when we're going live, and it's a lot easier to find us. We're here every day. We're always chatting. We got the same group of like 12 guys or so. Show up every day. And then we have Win, who I don't think is actually trading, but likes to talk with us. There you go. Thank you very much. Really though, that was the other thing, Win, is like honestly what we should do is we just need to get you with a sim account set up on NinjaTrader, and you watch it, and then you'll know too. You'll be like, okay, you won't want to chat because you're going to be into trading. You'll want to focus on your trade. But I'm just way too easily distracted. So here I am going on some big long rant about, well, immigration, which, is just a tough issue because the whole thing is just a big mess. And then, who's a white nationalist and who's not, which is just kind of turns into a big mess too, because the thing that I hate about that discussion, like here's the thing, Stephen Miller does, as far as I can tell, is not a white nationalist. I'm not a mind reader, okay? But he says that he's not, and I see no proof that he is. He's never made any kind of comment or anything that he believes in that, okay? But at the same time, I'm kind of defending somebody that's kind of screwed up a bit, haven't I? I mean, he has kind of been the brains behind the administration's immigration policy, and they screwed up. They just they just weren't prepared for what was about to happen. And then he can the only he can take the blame for that, or he has to take the responsibility for where he screwed up. Which of course nobody in the Donald Trump administration would ever do, but but like another example is like this lady in Boston where people are like they're protesting her stand because they claim that she's a white nationalist, and she says that she's not a white nationalist. But she does have ties to Identity Europa, which some people claim is a white nationalist organization, but which it claims is not. And here is where I'm like, okay, she's not a white nationalist, but she doesn't seem very smart. She just doesn't seem very smart. Alga Lover, what are you saying here? Listen, you said that if we went below 164.08 and if we broke 02, then all bets were off and we're going lower. Now you're saying it's doing the bounce? I just don't quite follow, because here's the thing is like, I could say, okay, here's 02 and here's the level, and if it goes through there, then there's a good chance that they're going to continue down. Sure. But what I could also do is I could also say, you know what? News came out and they were really negative on it and they moved down 30 ticks. Your level doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't matter at that point. Now that we've come down there and we've come back, the only piece of information that I would find useful for my time frame is, where is it going to bounce? Or rather, there's going to be a pullback here for sure. What is going to be the point of control for the end of the day? Is it going to be at 06? Or is it going to be lower? That's the only thing that, in my mind, that like super, super matters to me. Not that I don't appreciate when you give the larger levels. I just don't come in and say, oh, well, you didn't pay attention to that thing and then you should have. And that to me is kind of like, well, now you're trying to change the way that I trade, and I don't want to change the way that I trade based off of some information that a stranger is giving me. But that's me. I am the highly disagreeable type, aren't I? Mm-hmm. Trading Technologies, TT. It is a cloud-based desktop platform. You can get near endless demo account for free and start learning order flow. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. I've never tried using their platform, but they sure seem like they got a good one. Okay, Algo says he gets it. I understand. Okay, as long as we're cool. I didn't want you to think that I was like, because you've been a big help to the channel. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm ignoring you or something like that. I'm just trying to explain why I did what I did. Anyways, I don't think that I traded as well as I would like to have. Trading the dumb, interesting spark of impressions, crackers with cheese. Yes. Oh, what did Crackers say? I think he is racist, but not a white nationalist. Popularity matters. Well, it might be. I think that if you asked him if he was racist, he would probably deny it, though. But that kind of gets back to where it's like the definition of racism has kind of changed. And with the changed definition of racism, I think you probably could make a pretty good argument that he is, because at the very least, his policy hurt minorities. So then that's racist, right? Oh, NRG was saying he doesn't know who that is. So we're talking about Donald Trump's chief policy advisor is very strong. I mean, his main thing is immigration. And he was the one that was kind of saying, with all of the detention centers and everything like that, that it was like, Oh, it doesn't matter. Just, it doesn't matter if it's mean or whatever. Um, Keep it the way that it is so that people won't come. And um, I think he screwed up, and I think that the administration at large screwed up because the immigration centers just simply weren't prepared for what was happening. And so what ended up happening was a bunch of kids got separated from their parents, and you're talking about parents that weren't very, you know, like here's the thing. Here's another thing. Let me tell you about this. Um, Something that you should always just think about whenever they bring up the child separation thing, because they're saying that like all of these kids got separated from their parents, right? Well, here's how it works. If you're a parent and you went to the border and you got separated from your child, and now you're back in Mexico, your asylum claim has been denied or whatever the deal is, but now you're back in Mexico, you want your kid back, they have a number, you go and you call the number, and then they work it out with you. That's what it is, but the parent is supposed to take the initiative and do everything. So you got to wonder, okay, if these kids are still separated from their parents, what the hell are their parents doing? And then you got to wonder like, oh, these are the people that you want to come into the country as people that don't even go and try and find their own child? Come on. I'm not saying that obviously that's not what we should base who comes into the country or not on, but I'm just saying we're working with groups of people that have problems. And I'm not going to say it's their fault or that we should be mean to them because of that or anything of that nature, but I'm just saying that we need to inform our policy on that. And coming in and saying we should ignore our law and we should give special exceptions to everybody, that does not make that situation better. You have to have, when you're running into a situation like that, I've found, well, like as an example, I administrate a Facebook group for Pokemon. Okay. Let me tell you what. There are some really cool people in that Facebook group, but generally speaking, I don't participate in it all too much anymore because most of the stuff that goes on there doesn't interest me. Like they'll post some picture of a Pokemon that I've seen 20 billion times, right? They'll post some joke about, when the gym leader analyzes your Pokemon and they called their Pokemon something inappropriate or something, and they post that. Those are the sorts of things that people post in those groups. And so I'm not going to say that I don't like these people or anything like it, because I administrate the group and I like the aim and I like being able to interact with the people. But it does tend to attract a certain level of internet user that is not the most sophisticated internet user. Okay? So when there is a problem in the Facebook group, I don't come in and I say, okay, well, I understand what you said this, and I understand that you did this, and you were upset, and let's kind of work things out. And no, fuck that. You know what happens? You break the rules, you're gone. You're banned, no questions. That's it. I do the rules, and if you break the rules, you get banned. There's no discussion, there's no warning, there's no second, third warning or anything like that. It's straight. And you know why we do it that way? Because then nobody ever tries to push the line. They know exactly what's expected, and they know exactly what's going to happen if they exceed those expectations. Or shouldn't say exceed, but if they break those rules, they know exactly what's going to happen. Okay? And all I'm saying is that if we really want to fix the situation on the border and the situation in South America, the answer is not to break the law or undermine the law. The answer is to have a strict immigration system that works and that people aren't trying to run circles around. And then we go back into the countries and help those countries. That's how you fix that problem. What phone number to call? The immigration services, when that whole thing was going on, they made a big announcement, and you can go and find the press release and the numbers there. I don't have the time to go and find it though. They hope their kids will eventually get asylum. It is a last ditch effort to get their kids a better life. They are desperate. They don't know what the solution should be, but we can't let in everyone. Yeah, well, I agree popularity matters, but like that's the larger point is that if is like okay, if I'm assuming that these are good people, generally speaking. They might have problems. They might not be the brightest people. Okay, they might not be the most responsible people, but they're trying to get a better life for themselves. I totally understand that. And I would like to help these people have a better life, but I don't think that the answer is so we bring everybody into the United States. I think that, if you want people in South America to have a better life, then the answer is that we need to help Guatemala and Honduras become better countries. And that we're actually doing them a disservice by taking all of the good people in. You know? And he is not fully ready to be the explorer, guardian, warriors, and walking encyclopedia duality. I don't know. I mean, the thing is that I really don't think that when I look at the, well, first of all, remember, reality will always kind of try to defy any kind of construct that we put on it, right? There's always going to be exceptions and things like that. And so most of what we're doing are just things that make reality easier for us to understand, but they're never going to be a perfect reflection of reality, right? And I think that with my personality, the only thing that I think is really strong about my personality is that I'm disagreeable. And I've learned to just kind of accept my role in that. And even on YouTube, because I know if I had come in and I just agreed with everybody and I just said liberal things, probably would be a lot more successful, right? But that's not me. I am good at finding the thing that everybody else is wrong about and convincing everybody that they should look at it from a different perspective. That's the thing that I'm good at. And it's not a likable thing for sure. But some people can deal with it and get along with it, and I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to own it, because if I was disingenuous, that in the end is just going to fall on its face, because then what would happen is I would just be like, I would get really popular by being agreeable to everybody, and then eventually I would break one day and piss everybody off. Except for at that point, then I would be popular. So then it would be like this big controversy sort of a thing, right? It's like PewDiePie, when PewDiePie got popular, and then they found out, oh, he has some right wing views, and then it's a big, um, controversy. But with me, you all know exactly what I think, right? And of course, we have to admit, with the Trump administration, they've made mistakes. I don't think that they did what they did because they were racist or anything like that, but they totally screwed up the immigration thing, didn't they? And honestly, the real mistake that they made was putting Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. That was the biggest mistake of the Trump administration, because not only would that whole investigation thing have gotten shut down much more quickly, but that policy decision that Jeff Sessions made in relation to the immigration was really bad. You be Archie, or the Archie, and I will be Jughead. There you go. Actually, going all right would get you more viewers and a strong following. I don't know if that's true anymore, though. Popularity matters. Oh look, they did go way down, but I think maybe you buy this bounce. Let's see. It would be a hard call. I think you buy this one though. It's not giving me an outsized thing. I think though you might get the golden signal and then you buy it. Oh yeah. So I think you would get more viewers and a strong following. I think that if I had done that, um, well, I mean, I've always been a little bit right, and I've been doing this for like 2 years now, I think. But if I had been doing this like before Donald Trump got elected, and I understood YouTube better, and I tried really hard to get popular, then maybe. But Google has changed the algorithms in a way that it makes it extremely difficult to go viral with anything even remotely political. So I don't think that I would get extremely popular. And I try to do stuff like I've been trying to work the Twitter. But the honest truth is that, um, yeah, I could be right wing, and there certainly is an audience out there for it if you go on the right platforms and stuff. But the whole like business angle from it, they're not necessarily interested. Because the thing is at some point, I'm always going to say something that contradicts. But so even if you're right wing, right? If you were like a full on right wing Trump supporter, you're still going to have heard things from me today that you're going to disagree with, right? I'm going to say the Trump administration made a mistake with their immigration policy, and they're going to disagree with that. They're going to say, no, they totally did the right thing, and they should have been more hard, and they shouldn't have given in to the media. That's what they're going to say. But it was wrong. That's wrong. They screwed up. They were totally caught off guard. It's very clear. No question about it. I've said, hey, there are people out there that are associated with white nationalists, and they're probably not too smart people, but they're not white nationalists. The Donald Trump people will say, well, that just means that you're a nationalist and that you happen to be white, and there's nothing wrong with that. No. Listen, there's a very clear definition of white nationalism that they have been using since the 60s. It is advocating for a white ethno state. It is absolutely evil. It is without question unconstitutional and evil. And there are a lot of, and I argue with people on the Donald Trump subreddit every week about this, and they don't like me because of that. And maybe some of those people that are arguing with me actually are white nationalists. I don't know, but there are people trying to hijack the Donald Trump movement and try and turn it into something that it's not, because he would never was and never will be about racism. He's probably, in terms of, being sensitive to the needs of minorities and trying to help them out, he's probably the most progressive Republican president ever on that front, which is kind of funny that he's somehow been associated with white nationalism, because I don't think that he adheres to that at all. He just happens to speak politically incorrect, and they, twisted around some things that he said to mean things that they didn't mean. But he's not a white nationalist. Patriot soapbox. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't necessarily care to go to their website. He will speak to who will vote for him. Well, here's the thing: is that they're like, this all started with that interview, and they're saying, well, you're being supported by white nationalists because of your immigration policy, and do you denounce them? And he was kind of like, he claims that he couldn't really hear what they were saying correctly. But even if it was me in that position, I would be a little suspicious. Be like, why would you even bring that up? Like, it's kind of a dumb thing to even talk about, honestly. Like, some crazy guy said something. Like, why should I even care? Why are you even giving them a platform by talking about it? You know what I mean? But they ask him that question. So, of course, it's going to be like, well, I need to be careful because they're probably trying to goad me into saying something stupid. And so he's like, well, I don't know who that is. Well, and then they said, oh, well, he failed to denounce them. But then he did denounce them. Like, I think he did in that very interview. And then the next day he denounced them when he understood what was going on. But then somehow he still didn't denounce them, which is just silly. Yes. There you go. Popularity matters. It says the label for Trump exists because he didn't immediately reject their support and because of after Charlottesville. Yeah, they hate him no matter what. Well, yeah. I mean, here's the larger thing. I remember in 2008 it was, and Mitt Romney was the Republican frontrunner, or he was the nominee. I don't remember at what point it was. And one thing that he did was he said, hey, when I was governor, I said, hey, we do want to have some women in some of these positions. So why don't you go and find me some qualified female candidates for these positions? And then they brought him back binders full of women with full resumes and everything that they could look through to find some qualified people to try and have some diversity in the government when he was governor. And they said that that was sexist. That was a big gaffe that they intentionally tried to hire women, and that was misogynist. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then after that, they said, well, Mitt Romney, because he doesn't favor immigration, is racist. He's obviously a Mormon. Mormons are racist, which is nonsense, but that's what they were saying. He's saying that Mitt Romney was racist. He has black grandchildren. His granddaughter is a black girl. I think that she was adopted, if I recall correctly. And they're saying that Mitt Romney is racist. So whenever I hear them call a Republican racist, that's just the Democrat playbook. It doesn't mean anything. Honestly. They will go to white nationalist meetings like Ted Cruz does. I do not see a Bernie, Elizabeth, or Mayor Pete at those events. Well, no, let me explain to you what you will see. So first of all, they will say that an event is a white national event when it's not. So again, they will say, because this organization is concerned about Islamic terrorism, they're a hate group. We already saw that. Remember, you posted that, and they said, well, they were labeled as a hate group because they're talking about Islam. And then if you go and you look at what they've actually said about Islam, you will find that what they said is not hateful at all. It was really quite sensible. Okay? So they say that it's a white nationalist meeting when it's really not. And then they will exaggerate Ted Cruz's association with that particular event. Okay? Meanwhile, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is soliciting funds to free Antifa members. Literally, domestic terrorist organization. Their whole ideology is that we need to go out and commit violence against people that we claim are fascists, but really just end up being anybody that's even remotely right-wing, that we should go and do violence against these people to convince them to not be right-wing. Okay, so literally terrorists, literally a domestic terrorist organization, and she is fundraising for them for their legal defense because these people committed violence. And does anybody call out Ocasio-Cortez for that in the media? No, the only place I've heard about that was on Reddit. You know what I'm saying? Who on the left side is racist? Well, Hillary Clinton claims that her mentor was a member of the KKK. She was. I don't think that there's very many people. Well, I'll tell you another person that's on the left that's racist. You ready for this? David Duke is a Democrat. David Duke he supported Democrats until Donald Trump. And he's actually not that hot on Donald Trump anymore. And I believe, if I recall correctly, he was planning on voting Democrat in the next election. AOC is a scapegoat. Well, but I'm comparing AOC to Ted Cruz, right? You were bringing up Ted Cruz. AOC is a member of the House. Ted Cruz is a senator. Okay, they're a little bit different, but they're in pretty much the same position. And you were saying Ted Cruz went to a meeting that supposedly was white nationalists, although I'd have to look up the specific one because I've seen that sort of a thing come up more than once. But I'm just pointing out she's supporting a domestic terrorist organization. And that's not, so here's a situation where Ted Cruz didn't, what you're saying Ted Cruz did, he didn't actually do. But then here I can point out somebody on the left that is absolutely supporting extremists. Maybe not racists. Yeah. David Duke used to be a Democrat. Mm-mm-mm. You got to remember that the Democrat Party was originally the racist party, and somewhere along the line they kind of flipped. Like, it's really, here's the thing, man. I'm like going way over. It's 9:05 now. Um, yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But the thing is that neither party is a monolith, right? The conservatives, which, we have the conservatives in the Republican Party today. Those same group of conservatives were in the Republican Party back in um, Abraham Lincoln's time. And there's kind of always been this little separation bit between there. But in more recent history, um, a certain section of the Democrat Party basically got killed and disappeared. But that's why you get this thing where all of the racist origins in the United States started over in the Democrat Party, and then at some point, all of those people started voting Republican because that section of the Democrat Party basically disappeared. Anyways, I've gone way over. I gotta go. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay, day. Let's focus a little bit more tomorrow, huh? It's going to be ADP, so tomorrow, or non-farms, so tomorrow we got to be like laser focused. So only action, only the action, unless it gets really quiet. So I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable.